Hey yo, what's going on guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video. And today I'll be posting what if Naruto had thunder breathing. So let's begin. So how this is gonna start off is Naruto's dad, Minato Namikaze, is gonna have his father teach him thunder breathing. So basically Minato will be able to wield a katana and move so fast, faster than even the Raikage. So he's gonna take up the flying Raishin still, but he's also gonna have thunder breathing to enhance even more of his speed. So that's how Naruto will be learning thunder breathing. So let's go to the Nine Tails attack. So when the Nine Tails attacked, or was released from Kushina's seal, Minato took Naruto to their house and put on his Hokage cloak and grabbed his um thundery looking katana with thunderbolt markings all over it and a little bit of a black kind of color. He used a flying Raijin, teleporting to where the masked man was, and he beat the masked man with rather ease since he's even faster than before. So that's why. And the Nine Tails is ravaging through the village, and the Hokage, the third Hokage, used his Monkey King Enma staff and hit the Nine Tails out of the village, or pushed him out the village so he couldn't cause any more damage. Then Minato came down from the sky with a toad summoning that landed on the Nine Tails and teleported him to a bit of a desolate area where the village wouldn't be harmed by the Nine Tails' attacks. And that's basically that, and most of what happens is rather the same, and yeah, that's basically it. It's basically the exact same, except Minato had thunder breathing and stuff. That's basically it. So we move from that, but before we move, the sealing process was the same. Yep. Yeah, everything was the same, besides Minato's thunder breathing. So we moved to when Naruto was 4 years old and got kicked out of Hiruzen's house. Hiruzen isn't a hater towards Naruto. He just doesn't like him very much because of his wife and everything. He understands that it was just for the he understands that it wasn't Naruto's fault, but the feeling he has in his chest saying that it's all Naruto's fault, but he's trying to push that back, knowing that he is the son of the fourth. So yeah, and Naruto, when he was a kid, I'm not gonna say he has the same kind of vibe as Zenitsu, because Zenitsu is cool. I like the dude. Zenitsu is great, okay? No homo, okay? Like, Zenitsu is a good character, but I don't really like the way he's so nervous and stuff, and he has to be unconscious to use his cool moves. I don't like the fact that it has to be like that. But the thing is, I'll give Naruto the same kind of a personality as Zenitsu when he's unconscious. The kind of cool, calm, and collective kind of personality. That's what I'm gonna give Naruto. He's gonna be a bit smarter than before, and his chakra's still gonna get disturbed a lot. So it's because of the Nine Tails interfering with his chakra flow, and Naruto doesn't understand why he can't perform jutsus. And one day in class, when he was trying to do the transformation jutsu, it failed, and everyone started to laugh at Naruto, calling him a loser, and he's never gonna become a Hokage or anything like that. And Naruto, he let his feelings get to him this time, and he ran away. And he ran over to the Hokage stone faces, and climbed up the Hokage stone faces, and sat on the fourth's head, basically, and looked out on the village, seeing how beautiful the sunset looks. And Naruto thought to himself, why is everyone so mean to me? I've done nothing wrong to them. Naruto questions this, and an old man walks behind him, and it isn't Hiruzen. This old man was basically Minato's dad, but Zenitsu's grandfather. Okay, hope that makes sense. So basically, Minato's dad comes and pats Naruto's head and says, don't worry, young one." And Naruto looks up, seeing the man, and says, "Who are you?" And the old man says, "I'm your grandfather, of course." "Well, I'm your grandfather, of course." Naruto widens his eyes, saying, "You're my grandpa?" And and the old man says, "Yes, I am. And I apologize for not being there for a while. I was off doing a bit of a mission, and now I've returned. And he is in this mission wasn't a ninja mission. He was just, I don't know, doing some random stuff. Plot, okay, plot. And this old man says, "This Naruto, oh my gosh, please let me speak." So Naruto's grandfather says to Naruto, "Do you want to grow stronger, even stronger than you are now?" Naruto looks at him and says, with a calm face and a calm expression, saying, "I want to become stronger." The Naruto's grandpa says, "Well, all right. If you want to become stronger, follow me." Naruto follows follows his grandpa and follows him to an old shack, just a bit of a kilometer away from the hidden leaf village. Old shack near a waterfall, and the brutal training that has to start begins now. Naruto's grandfather was hard on Naruto. Every single day he trained, Naruto felt like running away, sneaking off to try to return back to the village, but he had some sort of drive to train and learn, and Naruto's grandfather showed him the ropes of thunder breathing, and that's basically it for Naruto, and he's also learned a bit of chakra control, okay? So he's gotten better at chakra control than the original. And I'm sorry for the background noises. And we continue. Naruto has learned a lot of stuff throughout the years of training. He's been training with his grandfather for 5 years of his life. So he's 9 years old, 5 years. And Naruto was told one day to basically climb on the first day or the second day of training. He was told to climb the waterfall with a bag of rocks on his back, and those rocks were at least 5 kilograms each. And he had to climb the waterfall with slippery rocks and stuff, and he had to swim. And if he fell off the waterfall, then he had to swim. Hey, yo, sorry for cutting the clip there for a second, but I'm back. So Naruto does his training, and his training's very brutal. Mainly focused on his legs, but he's also been working on the upper body here and there sometimes. And it took him at least 2 years to climb the waterfall. The whole waterfall with the basically the backpack full of 10 rocks. 10 rocks. They're heavy rocks. They increase the weight every single time, and Naruto just keeps getting used to it, and he's becoming even faster and faster. And one day he climbed over the waterfall, and he conquered it. And next part was to actually cut a tree with a wooden sword. He was given a wooden sword, but his grandpa comes out and climbs the waterfall and says, I could cut this with a stick, but I'm giving you a wooden sword. Soon enough, you need to learn how to cut this tree with a stick. And his grandpa bends down, like crouches basically, almost a crouch. And you hear him breathing. And he calls out, thunder breathing, first form, thunder clap and flash. And then there was a lightning bolt from where his grandpa was standing to the other side of the tree. And the tree had the cleanest cut. And the tree toppled over. And Naruto's eyes widened in shock and said, no way, how is that even possible? And his grandpa laughed and says, it's possible, young one. All you have to do is train harder. And Naruto was filled with inspiration and trained another 3 years trying to cut down a different tree, since that tree was cut down by his grandfather. Training over and over, trying to use a thunderclap and a flash, and trying to master the first form and then move on. But it seems that Naruto can't. And Naruto's time was running out. But Naruto, one day, he crouched down. He took his stance. He closed his eyes and began to breathe. And he remembered all the breathing techniques he's learned. He's learned total concentration breathing, but he hasn't put it to the test yet. And he just slowed his mind, calmed himself, began to breathe in and out. And for a second, he opened his eyes, and his eyes started to crackle with electricity. His body was covered with electricity, and for one split second, he was gone. And then he was on the other side of the tree, and the tree had a perfect cut. Naruto looked at the tree and it toppled over, and he said, I did it! I finally did it! Naruto starts praising himself, or just cheering, and starts yelling, I did it, Grandpa, I did it! And his grandpa climbs over the waterfall and says, well done, you've done it. Maybe could have used a little bit of work, but hey, you've done it. And they move on with the next 3 years of Naruto's training. Naruto, although he was training, he is smart, okay? His grandpa wouldn't let him down in the intelligence department, since Minato, his father, or the grandpa's son, basically, is smart. Minato was smart, and he doesn't want Naruto to be lacking in that department, because that department was where his father was at. And so that's basically it for the time being of his training. And he began to learn the other forms. But in all honesty, Naruto began to struggle with the rest of the forms, trying to perfect each one in under a month, but failed every single time. He's trying to learn. He's trying to learn his hardest, and he's tried. He's tried so hard. Okay, Naruto's trying his absolute best to master the thunder breathing, but he can only master 3 forms. Okay. And let me just quickly search up the thunder breathing forms. I'm sorry, I only know one of them. Okay, apologies for having to look it up, but I have to because I don't know all the forms except the first one. Okay. So give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm back and I learnt the forms. He has learnt thunder breathing, the first form, thunder, clap, and flash. The next form, the second form, Rice Spirit. The third form, Thunder Swarm. That's all he's learned so far. And he's almost made it to the fourth form, but just not there yet. Not there yet. He's almost, but not completely. So Naruto returns back to the academy when he was 12 and asks the third Hokage if he can get his Genin headband. And Hiruzen, not knowing that Naruto has been training all those years, said, Naruto, where have you been? I've been looking everywhere for you. And you look a little different, Naruto. And Naruto states that he's been off training and wants to become a Genin already. And Hiruzen didn't want to put him to the test on the fighting an Anbu kind of thing because he doesn't want to hurt Naruto. But Naruto insisted to fight one of his Anbu members. Apologies for the background noises. Someone came into my recording area and so I had to pause for a second. But I'm back. So Naruto insisted on fighting one of his Anbu members. So Kakashi came in and he was a bit of a... Kakashi, well, let's just say he was a bit arrogant because he was just fighting a kid, not even a Genin. So Kakashi, he thought he had the total advantage in this, so he thought he was going to hold back. But Naruto had this long sword. Oh, wait 1 second. My apologies. Someone was knocking on my door, but I'm back. So Naruto, the sword you see in the thumbnail right now is basically the exact same sword he has, but with thunderbolt markings. And Naruto crouches down and says, thunder breathing. First form, thunder, clap, and flash. And Kakashi wasn't even prepared. He wasn't even using a Sharingan at this point. But Kakashi was so confident that he honestly thought he could defeat Naruto with ease, one strike. But before Kakashi knew, Naruto was behind him. And no, he did not behead Kakashi. He just slashed his mask in half. And Kakashi's expression just went from totally confident to nervous. Kakashi turns around and looks at Naruto and says, no way. Hiruzen was pretty shocked too. And those were the techniques of his father, Hiruzen would think. The thunder breathing. Only Minato could handle that. But his son unexpectedly learnt it. The grandfather must have taught him something. So, Hiruzen, he didn't let Naruto go to Genin yet because he didn't pass the exam. But Naruto is still gonna get the Genin headband due to the Genin exams. Naruto arrives just in time for the Genin exams, and everyone just stares and says, who is this kid? He looks like someone we know. And the girls began to, go over to Naruto, say hello and stuff. And Naruto just ignores them and sits next to Sasuke. And the one and only trash bag Sakura comes in and says, hey, that's my seat. You better get out if you know what's good for you. And Naruto just gives her the stare and ignores her. And Sakura says, don't ignore me, and tries to punch Naruto. But Naruto catches her punch and looks her in the eye and says, looks her in the eyes and says, do that again, and I won't hesitate to behead you next time. And Sakura, her eyes widened and said, what did you just say? And Naruto says, you heard me. And Sakura just left. She was scared. She went back to a different seat next to Ino, and she was shivering. And Sasuke had a smile on his face for the first time since before his clan was killed. Naruto looked at him and said, was she about to bother you? And Sasuke was just like, yeah. And Sasuke asked, what's your name? And Naruto says, don't remember me, Sasuke? And Sasuke blinked 3 times and opens his eyes and says, "Wait, you're the Adobe, Naruto." And Naruto says, "Still call me that nickname." And Sasuke was just like, "Naruto, been a while." And they had a little bit of catch up, and the exam started. The written exam aced by Naruto, and Sasuke was surprised because he thought Naruto was just a doofus and a complete moron. And he didn't think that Naruto was actually smart. So that's why Sasuke was caught off guard. And in the physical kind of part, the practical, Naruto aced the throwing shuriken. Sasuke just got 8 out of 10. In the running, Naruto blitzed that thing doing 100 laps and not even tired after the 100th one. Sasuke only lasted 21 laps. Everyone was surprised of Naruto's physical capabilities. And the next part is the sparring. Sasuke versus Naruto was the last match. And on the final match, Naruto took his position and he went down and used the third form, Thunder Swarm. He took his position and Iruka said, "Begin," and Naruto says, "Thunder breathing, third form, Thunder Swarm." He released basically what I see in this is Zenitsu is basically throwing thunder slashes everywhere. That's what I see in this, so that's basically what Naruto did. Thunder Swarm. He slashed his sword in the air, throwing electrical slices or thunder slices in the air. And Sasuke was caught off guard and was cut by like a few of them and tried to dodge most of them, but failed. And Sasuke was cut in his arms, his legs, his chest. And Sasuke was bleeding. And Sasuke was just like, "What the hell? No way, what was that technique?" And Sasuke was on one knee and started breathing heavily. "How's this Dobie beating me?" And Sasuke, before he knew it, Naruto was already behind him. And Sasuke widens his eyes and tries to turn around and give him a kick to the face. Naruto was gone. And it was behind him again. And Naruto put the sword, made the sword lean on Sasuke's neck and said, "I've won this match." And Iruka declared Naruto the winner. And Sasuke would still be declared as the Rookie of the Year since Naruto wasn't here for basically the whole time. So we move. And yeah, Naruto gets his Genin headband. Team 7 is still the same. Every other team is the same. Kakashi, still the same and stuff. He came an extra hour late from canon and decides to see what happens. And everyone on the team was bugged out. But Naruto, he basically began to meditate and began breathing in and out, calming his mind. And Sasuke saw this and thought, "What is he doing?" Sakura still fawning over Sasuke, as usual. So then Kakashi arrives into the class, saying, "Oh, sorry guys, I got lost in the path of life." And Naruto stood up and began walking out and says, "Save it, Kakashi-sensei, just meet us on the roof." And Naruto was gone in an instant and was already on the top of the roof. And Kakashi was shocked once again because his speed is nothing like he's ever seen besides Minato-sensei, he thought. And Kakashi said to meet him on the roof, and he used I forgot what it was called. Man, I keep forgetting what these moves were called. The body flicker, and teleported to the roof and introduced himself as, "I'm Kakashi Hatake, and I'm going to be your joining sensei for a while." And begins introducing himself here and there,
So that's basically it for now. And Kakashi asked Sakura to introduce herself. Sakura was just like, I'm Sakura. The things I like. Looks at Sasuke. It's basically the exact same. I don't even want to cover it. Apologies if I covered it a little bit because I don't want to. And I don't really like Sakura that much. Okay, if there's Sakura fans out there, I'm sorry, but I don't really like Sakura that much. And I apologize for more background noises. And yeah, we move. So Naruto um introduces himself saying, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, or should I say Namikaze." And this shocked Kakashi. He didn't think Naruto could actually found out about that, but Kakashi kept this to himself and said, "I'm Naruto Namikaze, and my likes, I like to train and talk to my grandpa, and my dream is to become Hokage, and the dislikes and the things are basically the same. Not the same because Naruto does like ramen, but his grandpa told him to eat more nutritious food, so he decided to stay off ramen for a little while. And that's basically that. And Sasuke introduces himself. He's still emo and stuff, and they move on to the next day, and it was the bell test. The next day was the bell test, and the bell test goes rather the same, and that's that. It goes rather the same, and Sakura still got caught in the Genjutsu. Sasuke still got buried underground, but Naruto's putting up the biggest, the most fight out of them all. Naruto using the thunder breathing first form, thunder clapping flash, was moving around faster than anything Kakashi's ever seen, besides Minato Sensei, and Kakashi was forced to use his Sharingan, and he was like, "This kid's making me use my Sharingan," and he starts using hand signs and says, "Fire style, fireball jutsu," releasing a fireball at where Naruto was gonna land, but Naruto vanished from that area and was behind Kakashi, and then moves to another area and goes for the strike to the head. Kakashi barely dodging this, barely. His hair just got cut a little bit, and Kakashi tries to go for the spinning back kick, and Naruto dodges this and goes for the second form, thunder breathing, rice spirit, and that knocked Kakashi back. Kakashi was caught off guard, and then Naruto sends in a third form, thunder swarm. Yeah, thunder swarm, and that knocked Kakashi completely out, and Naruto got 2 bells, passed it to Sasuke, and they passed the bell test, and they were doing some. After that, though, they were doing some very, very low class missions, and none of them enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's that for the missions. The D rank missions were horrible. Naruto kind of took it seriously, but still got very bored. And he learned how to use chakra, like I said before. And he didn't take the scroll of sealing, some other kid did. And that kid was stopped by the Hokage and stuff. So yeah, so yeah. Um, Now we're gonna move on to the Land of Waves arc. So Land of Waves arc will be on the next part. I'll leave you guys on a cliffhanger, and I'll post part 2 after part 1 if I want to today or tomorrow, who knows, but I'll be posting and more often, so please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.